Alright guys, so I'm going to react to this video from TYT's newest race hustler, Rashad Richey. And I've reacted to a couple of his videos before because I just find this dude to be absolutely hilarious. And my latest reaction to his video, essentially I debunked his claim that he made about a Texas law that's against critical race theory, that he tried to tell his viewers ban the teaching of slavery in Texas, which was 100% just untrue, right? Now, this guy tries to pride himself in the fact that he's an academic, right? He's educated, okay? He has all the facts. I think this man has an MBA. He has a law degree. I believe he has 2 doctoral degrees, but yet he's working for a failing progressive YouTube channel, right? TYT, right? And I'm like, bro, how in the world do you have all that education and experience, but yet you're doing literally the exact same thing that I'm doing? And I don't have nearly as much formal education and experience as this man has. I got a bachelor's degree, right? That's all I got, okay? And he's doing the exact same thing I'm doing, and he's doing it with TYT. He's not even doing it on his own network, right? At the very least, bro, if you're gonna do this, right, react to silly videos on the internet like I do, at least get your own channel, do it on your own, right? Maybe I'll respect you a little bit more, but it's a damn shame that you went to school and got all that education just to end up doing this, working for TYT. He's so ashamed of it that he hasn't listed it on his website, on his resume, right? That he's working for TYT. But anyways, in this video right here, he's gonna try so hard to frame this woman, this GOP, this woman who's running for school board candidate, as a white supremacist. Now, she is a Puerto Rican woman. Now, and there's no evidence whatsoever that this woman is a white supremacist. However, he's literally going to try so hard to say she's a white supremacist, even though she's not. And it's just so cringy to me because it's like, bro, you're too educated for this, right? Allegedly, because just because you go to college doesn't mean you're educated. But it's like, bro, how do you stoop this low as an individual to resort to making up outrage stories like this and calling people white supremacists with no evidence whatsoever, smearing this woman's reputation purely to get views on YouTube? It really blows my mind. So without further ado, we're gonna actually get into this video and I'm gonna react to it.
A school board candidate who has been outed as a white supremacist. You see the picture.
She's Puerto Rican, bro. I just want y'all to understand. He's saying you see the picture as if that's obviously a white woman. She's Puerto Rican, okay? She's Puerto Rican. And furthermore, he's trying to act like because she looks white that she's obviously a white supremacist, as if anybody that looks white and that has light skin and long hair is a white supremacist. I mean, she's not wearing a Klan hoodie or anything like that, bro. It's not that obvious.
This is in suburban Milwaukee, has been shamed. This alleged white supremacist school board candidate has been shamed into deleting her Twitter account after racist and homophobic tweets. Scarlett Johnson, let's put up a picture. Scarlett Johnson, who is one of the organizers behind the McQuan-Thiensville school board recall election, may have made those tweets disappear, but the controversy surrounding them seems to stay, okay? A couple of the tweets shared with the Journal Sentinel include one last year when Johnson sarcastically tweeted, "Yeah, the threat of white supremacy keeps me up at night," with those fateful words posted alongside a picture of a sloth yawning. She later tweeted, without any hint of sarcasm, that, and I quote, "There exists no white supremacist group in the history of America that has taken more black lives than Planned Parenthood." Huh. Yeah. This.
All right. So before he gets into his word salad here, what did she say that was incorrect? Okay. The first part about white supremacy does not keep her up at night. I kind of agree with that, right? As somebody that's a so-called minority, right, person of color, white supremacy does not keep me up at night. It might keep this man up at night, right? It might keep him up at night and help him pay his bills, or the illusion of white supremacy, right? Because that's what it is. But it does not keep me up at night. What is racist about that? I'm simply not worried about the white man. I don't get up every single day, think about this person. What was controversial about that? Now, that second statement that she made about Planned Parenthood, right? If there is a white supremacist organization, that would be it. In terms of killing more black babies than any white supremacists did. This is just a fact, right? I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, you can be mad at that statement, but you can't dispute it. It is a fact. In fact, I think since Roe v. Wade, there's some estimates to say that there's been 19 million abortions by black women. 19 million. Show me where white supremacists have killed 19 million black people. Again, show me. So what she's saying here, there's no hint of any racism. If anything, what she's saying is just, these are just facts. And the first one was a feeling, right? She said, hey, look, white supremacy doesn't keep me up at night. Show me where in what she's saying that outs her as a white supremacist. But we'll keep listening. Maybe he'll list something.
This is the same person who actually denies being a white woman, okay? So Johnson
she's not. She's a Puerto Rican. Okay, so again, this dude right here, what he's doing, he's trying to make this woman seem like a white woman, even though she's not. She's Puerto Rican. There's a distinct difference. Hispanics, even though some people, they want to throw them in the bucket as white people just because they're light skinned. To my knowledge, a lot of Latinos and Hispanics do not consider themselves to be white, right, in the traditional sense, right, of being Caucasian. They're Hispanic, they're Latino. That's what they are, right? But this dude is saying that she denies being a white woman as if she's a white person that's pretending to be Puerto Rican when no, she's actually just a Puerto Rican. Again, this is how desperate this man is to say she's a white supremacist, even though she's not white. And this is what I'm saying. Like, this man is an academic, right? He has PhD, he has an MBA and a law degree, and he stooped this low as an individual to put this out on the internet. Again, it's embarrassing.
Not being a white woman that says she is actually Puerto Rican, has previously been a victim of racism. This is classic Karenicity here, by the way, which she points to as proof of her inability to be racist. She says she does not have the capacity to be racist.
Well, you woke revolutionaries said that. You woke revolutionaries because you have defined racism as a power structure. You're saying that anybody that's not white cannot be racist because only white people have power. So you put yourself in this box. And in order for Mr. Rashad Richey here, right, the academic, to get himself out of this conundrum that the progressives have put themselves in, he has to try to imply that, well, she's faking being a Puerto Rican. She denies that she's a white woman, right? Again, as if she's pretending to be Puerto Rican. He has to say that so that he can call her a white supremacist, so he can call her racist. Because otherwise, if he says that she's Puerto Rican, he can't call her racist because the progressives has said that only people that can be racist are white people, right? So he's playing this mental gymnastics game, right, with his audience who is not educated, right, who is not going to be able to pick up on this stuff, to, again, desperately smear this woman. And I'm like, bro, you have too much credentials for this, right? Why are you stooping this low as an individual? I don't understand.
Because of that particular background. She said, and I quote, very hard to prove I'm not a white supremacist, her words. But considering I have ethnic, curly, very dark hair, I'd probably not be a very good white supremacist. Once again, she said, very hard to prove I'm not a white supremacist.
This dude always makes a stupid face, bro. He always makes a stupid face on every single video. I'm like, bro, go take a dump. You look like you gotta take a dump, okay? Go use the bathroom, dog, okay? It's funny how in those first comments she made, right? He pointed out the sarcasm. obviously this tweet that she made is sarcasm, right? It is obvious sarcasm. Okay, I've made statements where I'm like, yeah, if I was a white supremacist, I would defund the police, right? I would put a Planned Parenthood in every single neighborhood. I would make sure that you're not educated. I would teach critical race theory in school. I've said stuff like that to make a point about how silly it is when people want to talk about Republican policies being white supremacist policies when the most detrimental policies really in the black community come from Democrats, right? Dependence on the government, defund the police, right? That stuff comes from Democrats. So again, he's trying to act like he doesn't understand the sarcasm when he knows she's being sarcastic. And he's trying to frame this as if this is a gotcha. See, she's saying it's hard to prove she's not a white supremacist. She's admitting to it. This guy's desperate, man. I don't understand. I really don't. You do not have to stoop this low as an individual.
It goes on. Johnson, who was named to former Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor and current Republican gubernatorial candidate Rebecca Kleefisch campaign's grassroots leaderboard on Twitter, also offered up a transphobic question. How many gay men want to date men with vaginas? Now remember.
All right. How many gay men want to date men with vaginas? Okay, so apparently this is transphobic. But I mean, in my opinion, I don't see why that's not a legitimate question. If you are homosexual, if you gay, again, I ain't got no problems with that. I have no problems with your lifestyle. I think that there's a different preference, right? In regards to their partner's genitalia, right? So again, I don't understand exactly how that's transphobic. If I'm ignorant on that, somebody educate me. But to this point, I have not found much evidence that this woman is a white supremacist or that she is homophobic, transphobic, or whatever. That's just me. But y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
She's running for school board, okay? When you're on the school board, you represent a very diverse group of young people, students, as well as parents. That's every school board, okay? But these are the things that she continues to say. Prior to deleting her Twitter account, Johnson liked a tweet that supported the idea of wanting to abolish public schools and outlaw teachers' unions. Those are the tweets. We have the proof. Yeah.
Okay, the controversial tweets here, right? The controversial tweet that she liked. Let's look. Abolish public schools. That's a libertarian position. Classic libertarian position. Heard a lot of libertarians make this argument. Educational vouchers to all citizen students. Classic libertarian position / conservative position. Free market, private enterprise schools compete for students. Outlaw teachers unions. All this stuff seems to be pro-education. Honestly, it seems to be in the best interest of so-called minorities and people of color, right? These seem to be very good policies that would benefit so-called minorities to get them out of these failing schools. But for whatever reason, this dude is pointing this out as if this is bad. I don't understand why. Again, he has not made one point here. He's just reading this stuff as if everybody should understand that she's a racist, white supremacist, homophobic bigot, right?
But here's the kicker, everybody. She's actually not the only racist person running for that school board position. There are others who are running who have said very similar things. So she's basically a candidate who has engaged in white supremacist talk, bigoted talk, racist talk.
How? What are you talking about? What evidence did this man provide to say that she's engaged in white supremacist talk? What evidence? There's zero evidence whatsoever. But he's just making this claim just because he wants to say she's a white supremacist and she's Puerto Rican. This is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for this man. You do not have to stoop this low, bro. I'm telling you, you don't. You don't. This is terrible.
And homophobic talk. But she ain't.
Again, I haven't even found evidence for that either. Again, somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. But again, I don't think what she was saying was homophobic. She was simply just stating a preference that gay men have in regards to genitalia. Is that not just a fact, right? Is that not a fact? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And I have no problems with that. I have no issues with that whatsoever. I'm just trying to find out, where is it transphobic or homophobic? I don't understand.
Ain't the only one in that race. Isn't that something? Senator Turner, we said this was going to start happening, that people like this, the worst among us, will seek political power. And here it is.
The worst among us wants to abolish public schools, privatize, give educational vouchers. That's the worst among us, right? She is the worst among us. The worst among us are concerned about, black people and their population numbers when it comes to abortion. That's the worst among us. God, man.
And they will continue to do so. I mean, they definitely do feel emboldened. And this woman should be nowhere near a school board. And let me just clear this up. Systemic racism, is different from an individual being a bigot.
That's right.
And anybody can be a bigot. Anybody can be prejudiced.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So her throwing up that she might not be white, it doesn't matter if she was purple or green. She is a bigot.
But you won't call her racist, though, because that's only reserved for white people, right? You won't call her racist. She's a bigot. No evidence to back up that claim whatsoever.
And there is something called anti-blackness, and it was on full display with this woman. Now, when we talk about systems, she is running for a school board, which is a body of power. If she is successful within that body of power, the system itself can be racist, and that is a power relationship. Doc, we need to have a whole show and educate folks, so she can't run away from it. Anybody, not just white people, can be anti-black, can subscribe to racism, bigotry. People of color can be bigots and prejudiced. But when we talk about,
okay, so why do you keep leaving that out? Well, black people can't be racist, right? You see how they're trying to mental gymnastics their way through this, and it's so silly. First of all, again, you want to talk about people being anti-black. What did she say that was anti-black? Because to me, her point about abortion seems to be a pro-black position. She seems to care about black life, okay? So what is anti-black about that? But see, what they do, guys, is that they want to frame anything that's not a progressive / Democrat position, liberal position, that's anti-black, right? If it's liberal / progressive, it's pro-black. Regardless of the actual effect that it has on black people, that's how they want to frame this conversation. That's how they want to frame it. Big brain Rashad Richey and Nina Turner, failed political candidate, who the progressives swore up and down people want their policies, that this is what the American people want. And she ran in her district, had a huge lead, lost it in the end, ended up losing. And now she's on TYT, right? She's resorted to taking her and her political campaign contributions to TYT, right? To work for Sink Uger. All the education in the world, and this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing with your life. Look, again, both of these people, if they had their own platforms, I would actually respect them a lot more. But just the fact that they went and worked for TYT, again, a failing progressive YouTube channel, okay? It's barely a news network. It's really a propaganda channel. But this is what you're doing? Again, I just cannot respect this. I can't respect it. You stoop this low to this is what you're doing. This is the stories you're talking about. It's one thing if they kept it legit, but this is not legit at all, okay? And listen, I'm not going to act like I'm above low-hanging fruit. I cover low-hanging fruit all the time. But again, I'm not running for office, and I'm not a dude with an MBA and a law degree, right? It's a little bit different. I think we're in two different positions, and I also do everything on my own. I don't have a network feeding me a script and all the information. I have to look up and do research and read everything on my own, right? I'm running my own thing. These people can't even run their own thing. They can't even run their own thing. And they have a whole research department behind them, and they've stooped this low to just making up stories, making up outrage stories for views and clicks. It's embarrassing, man. It really is. Furthermore, right, why don't you talk about all the anti-white bigotry out there, right? What about that? But you'll never hear somebody like Nina Turner go up here and say anything about that because she really only cares about one side of it. That's all she cares about.
Systemic racism and a power dynamic, that's when we tease out, where people stand based on their ethnic heritage or their racial identity. But she's a bigot, no doubt.
Yeah, and the racism.
What about, again, what about all the woke revolutionary progressives, academics, right? What about this guy, right? Calling this woman a white supremacist with no evidence whatsoever. Is he a bigot? Right? I think he's a bigot for saying that. I think that he might be a bigot for saying that. But again, the anti-white rhetoric, you notice they never go after those people. They never call those people out as bigots and racist, right? They never call those people out. This is how desperate these people have gotten to find racism, right? They have to resort to stooping this low, right, to find it. That's how in demand racism is. The supply just ain't there, but the demand is great for people like these two race hustlers.
I tell my college students this to hit on your point, Senator. The racism that we typically discuss is structural. We're talking about structural racism, right? That means if you're not actively deconstructing structural racism, you are either a volunteer as participant or you are unwilling as a participant, but the outcome is the same for those who experience the bite.
What about people just living their life, bro? He's sitting here with this Ibram X. Kendi talk. You're either a racist or anti-racist. If you're not actively trying to take down the systemically racist system, then you are complicit, right? And that's just some people who are living their life. Okay, and if anything, I would say she actually is trying to take down the systemically racist system because, in my opinion, if you want to talk about systemic racism, teachers' unions and government-run schooling, for as poorly as black people perform there versus homeschooling and private schooling, that's probably the most systemically racist system that you can point out. But they're not for abolishing that. They don't want to get rid of that systemically racist system. Okay, they don't want to do that. But they want to accuse somebody that actually does want to get rid of that as a bigot, a racist, a white supremacist, even though she's Puerto Rican. It's ridiculous. Anyways, I waste enough time on these people. Again, this guy, again, blows my mind that you stoop this low and this desperate to find racism where there's not, and to put this out there, ruin this woman's reputation simply because you're desperate for stories. And it makes no sense that this man is a whole PhD working for a failing network like TYT instead of having his own platform. It really blows my mind. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.